This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast, where we discuss the news in the world of sports. My name is Ben.
Forever Ben.
Forever Ben, FB.
I'm Pauline.
We are back here on a Monday. Pauline, I know both of us, well, I know I had an eventful weekend. I know you did too.
Yes.
Great Easter weekend. I know Friday celebrated a birthday.
Yep, that was fun.
Yes, definitely very, very fun. Any fun plans besides that? Anything you did besides that?
Oh, I went, so Friday I went to Topgolf, did that. Saturday I went out, and actually I had a pretty good luck weekend because I lost my phone when I went out, and then yesterday when I went back to where I was, they still had it.
You know, I lost my phone this weekend as well.
Did you?
But actually lost it a couple of times. But in not really good situations.
Oh.
So Saturday, I actually got a little surprise on Saturday. So I was getting ready to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend stops me in the morning. She goes, "You're not going to work today." And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yes.
Like, did like I get fired and I know about it? Like what?
Yeah,
what is
what do you
exactly
mean?
going on here? So she's like, I worked it out with your boss. Like, I'm taking you on a surprise day trip.
Oh, fun.
Took me to the snow, which I've never had a snow day before.
Fun.
California, San Joaquin Valley, Central Valley doesn't have snow here, so I've never really been to snow. I don't really go out much, but she takes me to the snow for the first time. Definitely a really, really fun, exciting day.
That sounds fun.
And that's actually where I lost my phone, because I lost my phone in the snow, which is literally a disaster because, like, the fresh powder, like, you can literally sink, like, knee deep in that.
Yes.
Luckily, I found it. So far, have not had any issues with it being wet. So, hopefully, I'm going to, like, knock on wood. Like, hopefully, it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Saturday, nice little day trip to the snow. Came back, had a coworker's barbecue.
Oh, fun.
So that was fun. Then yesterday, of course, Easter. Got a lot of things to do. Went on a nice little bike ride.
Mm-hmm.
Spent some time with my girlfriend's family. Spent some time with my family. So a really, really fun day. And, of course, you have a lot of sports mixed in. And in particular, basketball.
Yep.
We had the start of the NBA playoffs on Saturday. That's where our segment is going to lead us here. We're talking a lot of basketball today. Next, we're going to talk about, I don't know what you want to call it, the dumpster fire, the circus, the zoo that is just the New York Knicks.
Right.
Because on Friday, of course, Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony did schedule kind of like a little face-to-face meeting.
Right.
And, we kind of know what came out of that because Phil Jackson was not very shy in telling us. He was honestly really blunt and straight to the point about it. So we'll talk about that. Then we'll talk a little NFL. Aaron Hernandez proven not guilty for a murder he supposedly covered up. So, I mean, that's kind of fishy there, but we'll see.
Hey.
And then the NFL, what's going on with the whole celebration policy? Are they going to allow players to celebrate? Are they not? What do we think they should do? All that coming up. So, let's talk some basketball here, though. Of course, we have the NBA playoffs. It's the first round of the East and the West. We'll run through these games pretty quickly. Obviously, game ones are done and out of the way. The first game of the NBA playoffs was the Cleveland Cavaliers hosting the Indiana Pacers.
Right.
I said it on Friday on this show and on the basketball show. The team I wanted to see most in this first round was the Cavaliers because the whole time last couple of months, they've been telling us they do not care about the regular season. They're resting players. They conceded the number one seed to the Celtics, basically. So I wanted to really see them come out and make a statement. You know what I mean? Really solidify themselves. Okay, they are back. They are serious. They're ready.
Right.
And The Cavs won, which is great. They won 109 to 108, though. It's only a 1-point victory. CJ Miles from the Indiana Pacers misses the potential game-winning shot there at the buzzer. Paul George, 29 points in the game, 7 assists and 5 rebounds. After the game, he came out and said, I talked to CJ. I got to go get the ball. He's their best player by far, head and shoulders above anyone else. And he's like, you know what? I need to step up, be that leader, and be that guy to take the last shot. That did not happen. But, of course, the Cavs did come out on top 109-108. And you know what, Pauline? I felt like in this game, it was really just the same story. I did not see the Cavs. I didn't see them put that stamp on anything.
Right, because you're expecting the Cavaliers to be more than just 1 point better than the Pacers.
Exactly, and again, it was the fourth quarter. Indiana outscores the Cavs by 7. Start coming back a little bit. The Cavs had an 8-point lead going into the fourth. You assume it'd be put away and in the bag, but it really wasn't the case.
And
LeBron,
go ahead.
Very good game, 32 points, 13 assists, and 6 boards. He looked like he was definitely ready and prepared. But, everyone else, it just wasn't really there. The defense, again, a little struggling. Indiana shot 49%. They shot 17 of 20 from the free throw line, made 11 three-pointers. It's only one game. Not going to feed too much into it, but I'm still not sold on them.
Yeah, and if you're the Pacers, then you're feeling pretty good because now – you're not getting blown out. You're 1 point less.
Definitely. And
loss,
on the road, right away, you'd imagine they would come out hungry.
So it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, Lance Stevenson, good game off the bench, 16.7 rebounds, 3 assists in 27 minutes. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the Indiana air or the fact that he's wearing blue and yellow, but he just seems to really, really click there.
Yes.
The next game of the day on Saturday was the Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors, and this game definitely surprised me. The Bucks come out on top 97-83, win by 14 against Toronto on the road, and it was really the Giannis Antetokounmpo show, which you'd imagine. 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He shot 13 of 18 in his first career playoff game. Absolutely fantastic in Game 1 there. DeMar DeRozan for the Toronto Raptors had 27 points. Kyle Lowry and DeRozan both really struggled in this game, combined shooting 9 of 32 from the floor, including 0 of 8 from 3. So I feel like they just kind of had a bad game. Didn't really shoot well. 36%, 21.7% from 3. I still like Toronto in this series.
Yeah, I think it was just a kink.
Yeah. I said on Friday I'd give the Bucks 1 game. I didn't think it'd be Game 1, of course. But hey, who knows? We'll see what happens. Giannis Antetokounmpo, great game. He's going to have to continue playing better if the Bucks want to get it done. The Spurs won 111-82 over the Memphis Grizzlies in their first-round matchup, 2 versus 7. Marc Gasol had 32 points in the loss for the Memphis Grizzlies, and likewise 32 points for Kawhi Leonard in the victory. The Grizzlies came out really, really hot. They had a 5-point lead at the end of the first quarter, but then the Spurs, typical Spurs, make great adjustments.
Yes.
Started even putting Kawhi Leonard on Mike Conley at one point in the game, which is, your small forward doesn't normally guard the point guard, but given how Conley was playing, started off really, really hot. I think that's a great adjustment, and we'll see if that's going to be something that the Spurs do as these games progress here, is putting Leonard on Conley, because you're looking at some of the other Grizzlies players. Vince Carter, he's 40 years old. You have Wayne Selden, who's not much of a threat. And, of course, he's not going to guard either Gasol or Randolph or even maybe Jeff Green. So it makes a lot of sense, and that's definitely something the Grizzlies are going to have to adjust to if they're going to have any chance in this series.
I think excuse me, sorry. No, but yeah, I want the Spurs to go all the way to the finals, so
they look really good against Memphis. Yeah. Memphis is a team that's definitely, I wouldn't say giving the Spurs some fits in the postseason, but it seems that they've matched up pretty well.
Right.
But I think given the fact that they don't have Tony Allen, who's definitely their best defender, he's going to be out for the postseason, or at least the first round. Right. That's going to be tough to overcome. But one team that did overcome something pretty impressive was the Utah Jazz. The Jazz in the first game on the road defeat the Clippers 97-95, basically without Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert played 11 seconds in the game before being forced to leave with a leg injury. It looks like he's probably going to be out the rest of the first round, potentially coming back at the end of the first round, maybe if it goes like Game 6, Game 7.
If it stretches out, yeah.
But the fact that they did not even have Gobert
they were looking pretty good.
was big that they won the game because I felt like Rudy Gobert could be that one player that makes a big difference. I mean, he's 7'2", he's huge, he's a good interior defender, good shot blocker, basically their top second threat behind Gordon Hayward. And the fact that they did not have him and still won the game, like I said, was really impressive. The Jazz got great contributions from Joe Johnson off the bench. The veteran had 21 points, including the game winner there near the end of the game. Gordon Hayward chipped in with 19. And you look at the Clippers side, you have Blake Griffin with 26 points and 7 rebounds. You have Chris Paul, 25 points, 11 assists, and 7 rebounds. Had a really good game. But I said it a couple days ago. I feel like this is like the last of the Clippers like foundation, and it's like all crumbling down. And this is only one game, and given the fact that Gobert is going to be out for probably the series, I still like the Clippers.
Sure,
but I think game one you kind of saw like this is like it's just not clicking. They just don't have it. Like they need to sort of not break the whole team up, but kind of start fresh. And depending on where that could be,
adjusting with that. I think so.
Yeah, you have Blake Griffin being a free agent. I don't know if maybe you want to like move on past him or exactly what the whole situation is, but nevertheless, it's a very good win for the Jazz. They steal one in LA without Gobert. It's going to be tough, but they're definitely a team that's faced a lot of adversity so far this season. A team that won 51 games, myself included. No one thought that was going to happen. So I'm happy to see that they got things done. Now we shift over to the Sunday matchups. The first game of the day was the Washington Wizards and the Atlanta Hawks. The Wizards at home win 114-107 in this 4-5 matchup. The star of the day was by far John Wall. The point guard had 32 points to go along with 14 assists and 4 rebounds. Bradley Beal had 22 points, although he really struggled, 9 of 21 from the field, 2 of 11 from 3. Got some good contributions from the Morris brother, Markieff Morris, that is, 21 points and 7 rebounds in the victory there. The Wizards definitely struggled coming down the stretch, Pauline, but I still really am confident on them. I like them over the Hawks, and I think they could definitely give potentially Boston a matchup. Well, I mean, we'll get on Boston if we get there, but
Washington, these guys, I feel like their team plays with a lot of heart, like, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did give Boston a run. I think
the fact
that
you'd have John Wall, a really good defender against potentially Isaiah Thomas there, that would make a lot of sense to me. You look at the Atlanta Hawks side, you had Paul Millsap, 19 points. Star of the day for me was Dennis Schroeder. The German had 25 points and 9 assists in the game. He also shot 8 of 16 from the floor. But they do drop to the Wizards, 114-107. Let's look over now at probably, I'd say the best performer so far of the day yesterday was Draymond Green. The Warriors win 121-109. Portland hung around for a while there. It was actually tied going to the fourth quarter. They got great contributions from their backcourt. CJ McCollum had 41 points, including 27 at halftime. He was straight up cooking in the first half. Damian Lillard had 34 points, so combined 75 of the 109. The problem there is like they really just don't have any front court scoring at all. They literally got 9 points from their bench.
Yeah,
They had 9 bench points. They just really, it's just the backcourt, and they can't really get anything else going. They hung around, like I said, and I still think the Warriors will probably sweep the Blazers, but
I think so.
I was impressed with the Warriors and the Blazers matchups yesterday. But the best performer to me yesterday was Draymond Green. 19 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 blocks, and 3 steals. Literally an assist away from a triple-double, filling it up. And I kind of feel bad for Dre because this season it seems like he's almost been like the forgotten man.
Yes.
Because you have the addition of Kevin Durant. Durant played fantastic. He had 32 yesterday. Steph finished with 29. Klay Thompson, 15 points. You had Ian Clark with 12 off the bench, 4 of 5 shooting, so a good performance there. But I feel like Draymond Green's definitely the forgotten man because he's not really like scoring anymore. He's kind of doing like the dirty work. But the emotional leadership he provides and the defense, he had a couple of just like literally nasty blocks where he just stops like from getting dunked on. Just a couple nice blocks. One of them on Damian Lillard, kind of like sets the tone. You know what I mean? Draymond Green's that guy.
No, he does. He does. If he's hyped and riled up, it does change the atmosphere and the team. I agree.
Yeah, and he's like I say, he's been the forgotten man because he's not scoring that much anymore, but he's still getting his rebounds, his assists, playing great defense, and he's definitely going to be key to the Warriors championship run, because we all
Right.
know that's what it leads to, and that's the expectation. So anything less than that is really not acceptable in their eyes. But a good win yesterday by 12. Blazers hung around. They gave it all they could, but I mean, this series, I mean, we all think it's over before it even started. So
Sure. Yeah.
we'll just keep moving on. The Celtics did have their first-round matchup against the Chicago Bulls. I feel like this could be a tough one for the Celtics. The Bulls did win the regular season series 3-1, and they got Game 1 106-102. I feel really bad for Isaiah Thomas. Definitely an emotional day. The night before, so Saturday, he did lose his younger sister China in a single-car accident.
Yeah.
So he's definitely having
That's
to
tough.
battle some stuff on and off the court. You saw him during pregame warm-ups. You could see that his eyes were red, like literally probably crying in the locker room, going out on the floor. They had a moment of silence before the game, so he's definitely having a battle.
That's really difficult because you still
You still have to play the games.
And with some other jobs you could take bereavement time off, but it's like that's really difficult.
And even this the timing really off. Regular season, you probably can take a few games off. Celtics in a really good spot.
Yeah, that's hard.
To take days off here in the playoffs would be potentially really, really rough.
Disastrous.
I mean, now he's
it's
by
definitely
far their
a player.
best player.
Yeah, exactly. A player like himself and the magnitude, like how important he is on this team, really affects that too. So I'm sure. And really, do you get any sleep after a night like that? You know what I'm saying? Because you're already just given, the playoffs, the first game. I'm sure some of these guys, if not all, have some type of, things that they're going through in their minds, and to add that on top of it, I don't see how he could have gotten any sleep, gotten anything. So I don't know, how I hope, of course, I don't know. My heart just really goes out to him with the situation, because if they continue on, he's not going to really have that time, until potentially later, a couple weeks later from this. So how it's going to affect him too, because if he is, not able to sleep for, because personal things, this is something really going to affect him.
Exactly. But
really.
Although he did play really well yesterday, 33 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 10 of 18 from the floor. And, of course, his teammates trying to do everything they can. Al Horford, 19, Avery Bradley, 14. But they could not get it done. The Bulls, a great fourth quarter, in particular by Jimmy Butler. He had 30 points, 15 of them in that fourth quarter, going on with 9 rebounds and 3 assists. You have Dwayne Wade, 11 points, Rondo, 12. Even Robin Lopez, 14. They got some good contributions from Bobby Portis off the bench with 19 and 9 rebounds. And I feel like the Bulls could potentially be that team to give the Celtics some fits, which normally don't see in a 1-8 matchup. But you have Butler, who's by far the best player in the series. And then you have the experience.
I was going to say they have a lot of
a guy like Dwayne Wade, who's won 3 championships.
A lot of experience.
And then you have Rajon Rondo. Probably, it's been a few years now, but probably a little bittersweet about his time in Boston. So he probably wants to get back at Danny Ainge and some of the guys that are still there during his time there. So it's potentially a little tough. It's only one game, but the Bulls do steal one in Game 1, 106-102. Then our nightcap yesterday, a series everyone's really interested in, potentially MVP
hurt my heart.
Candidate number 1 versus MVP candidate number 2, and that's the Rockets against the Thunder. And this game was anything short of a blowout. 118-87 for the Houston Rockets. James Harden, 37 points, going with 9 assists and 7 rebounds. Even Patrick Beverley, 21 points and 10 rebounds. You look at Russell Westbrook, really struggled. 6 of 23 from the floor, 3 of 11 from 3. He had 22 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, but also 9 turnovers.
Yes.
James Harden was absolutely cooking yesterday. He had a couple of guys like Andre Robertson and even Enes Kanter at one point, literally on skates. I mean, he was doing everything he could with the ball. And they even struggled shooting what they do best, and that's the 3. They only were 10 of 33 from downtown, so 30%. I feel like potentially this could be a back-and-forth series, and it can. It's only one game. But like maybe if the Rockets don't shoot well or anything, but
they're going to have to, capitalize on something that the Rockets are lacking.
After watching this game yesterday, Pauline, I really feel like this series is just put to bed already. Because it's almost like when Westbrook wasn't touching the ball, The other guys were like, what
Didn't
do
know
I
what to do.
What's this orange thing? What do I do with it?
Yes.
Like, you have Victor Oladipo shooting 1 of 12. Andre Robertson had a pretty good game, 7 of 10, 18 points, 7 rebounds, but just literally no other contributions at all. Jeremy Grant with 10 points off the bench. Only 3 players in double figures. It's almost like they were just lost when Westbrook wasn't doing it. And he was really forcing the issue, which leads to him with the 9 turnovers. And honestly, I really feel like this series is put to bed. I know you're a big Westbrook guy.
Yeah, it's not really hurt my heart.
I think he'll probably win the MVP, given the fact that average triple-double, got 42 in a season. And I think even yesterday goes to show you that maybe he should be, because if he's not touching the ball, like, this team is
His
literally...
team collapses.
This team might be one of the bottom 3 or 4 in the league, because there's no one else around him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We'll see. It's only one game, but we'll have to see. Tonight, we do have a couple matchups. We have the 2-7 matchups in both conferences, the Cavs and Pacers Game 2, and the Spurs and Grizzlies Game 2. We'll take our first break here at the GSMC Sports Podcast. Went a little long there. That's okay.
It's all good.
We'll just make the other ones a little shorter. We'll talk next. Coming up, we have Phil Jackson. What do you say about Carmelo Anthony and the future of the Knicks? Coming up next here at the GSMC Sports Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
On Friday, Phil Jackson and Carmelo Anthony kind of had like a little one-on-one, a little heart-to-heart about the future
the
of
little
this
exit
team.
meetings. Yeah,
And Phil, after the meeting, comes out and talks to the media, which is very uncharacteristic. You don't see Phil talking very much.
Sure.
But anyways, he had something very interesting to say. He said, quote, "I think the direction with our team is that he," speaking of Carmelo Anthony, "would be better off somewhere else. If somebody was talking bad about you indirectly at your job, what would you do?" This is what Carmelo said earlier in the week. "You would feel a certain way. You would want that person to come straight forward with you. And I feel the same way. I'm a very honest person." Well, Melo, Phil definitely came straight forward right at you.
Yeah, you can't be more
because he's like
straight about that.
He's like, yeah, like, we don't want you here. I don't want you here.
Or
like,
probably, it's one of those things. He'd probably be better off somewhere else. It's one of those nice ways of, we just don't want him here. We don't.
No.
We don't mind where you go. That's fine, but just not here. Just.
Oh my God! I mean, and then there's
It's not you. It's me.
And then there's even like you said, like, it's almost like a breakup. Like, no, it's not you, it's me. Like, oh, wait, that means it's me. Like,
right.
And then there's even more to it, because you have Kristaps Porzingis. He's definitely been frustrated.
Did not
all season
do his
long.
meeting. Didn't meet with them.
He decides
Their
to go back
meeting.
to his home country of Latvia. Goes back to Europe and is almost like, okay, I'm like doing this to boycott the triangle offense. Like, those are some reports coming out from Adrian Wojnarowski from the weekend from Yahoo Sports, who he literally like knows everything. Like, if you have a deep dark secret, he knows about it. Okay, but like they're like boycotting the triangle offense. They don't want to run it. You have this whole Carmelo Anthony situation. You'd be better off somewhere else. Like, God, I don't know. You in the regular season, you had Derrick Rose.
Yep.
I just don't know where to even begin with this franchise.
They
Charles
got a lot
Oakley
going
and
on.
James Dolan, like,
yes.
This has to be the worst run organization in all of sports. And given the fact that you have things like the Cleveland Browns, the New York Jets, Sacramento Kings, I mean, this has to be the worst of the worst. Like, it just has to be. You have literally the president of the team coming out to the media about the star player. Yeah, we'd be better off without you here. Who does that?
Yes, it's pretty I've felt bad for Carmelo this entire situation, so just I feel worse for him because now if he wants to stay there, but do you still I would dip out now.
Well,
because there's nothing else you could possibly do. You've tried your best even throughout the rest of the season, and I've said this before, he continually played throughout the rest of the season instead of throwing a hissy fit and just, not caring. But he did what more can Melo do? So at this point, I think it is time to look around elsewhere because you're not wanted here.
But you know what the problem with that is? It's not that easy. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony's on a monster contract.
Yeah.
And I don't have the specifics in front of me, but I know he signed it 2 years ago, a max deal. So he's still got 3-4 years left on a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Who in their right mind, as far as an organization is concerned, is going to trade for him?
Yeah.
Because I feel really bad for Melo in this instance, and I have all season long. But I've said it throughout his whole career. Carmelo Anthony is not a guy that you build a team around.
No.
He's been to one conference finals appearance in his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
That's the longest he's ever gone in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a guy you build a team around. If you're bringing him in, you're bringing in that monster contract, and you're bringing in a glue guy. The ball is glued to his hands until he decides to let go of it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to bring that guy in?
Right.
And also, you have a no-trade clause in Carmelo Anthony's contract. So let's just say, for some reason, Phil Jackson is behind the scenes, like cooking up some potion or some magic, typical Phil, and he works a trade to... I'm just going to throw out some random team. He works a trade to, like, the Suns or something, okay?
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony has the right to say, no thanks. I have a no-trade clause.
Yeah.
He has the final say no matter where he goes. So it's not like you can just kind of move on and say, we're going to trade him for whatever we can. Mm-hmm. This team might want him to try and sell some tickets. Mm-hmm. We're going to get rid of him. It's not that easy.
He still gets to,
He has the final say in no matter where he goes. So not only does that limit the options, the contract limits the options, and the fact that he's been shown in his career that he's a fantastic scorer, but not a guy you can win with.
Can put all your eggs in his basket, definitely not.
So, what do you honestly expect to happen? I don't know. I'm being legitimately serious.
Yeah.
I do not know what is going to happen in New York.
With any of it. Yeah.
You want to know what it's like, Pauline? It's like you have a divorce all set up, but it's like you're both not willing to sign the papers for some reason.
It? Yeah.
Because Melo has the final say on where he goes. Mm-hmm. Phil can't really trade him that much, or not has a great chance to trade him because of the contract and Melo's playing career. So it's like, what can you possibly do? And you know what? For the Knicks organization, this is only going to get worse, which is honestly scary to think, given the fact
it's steadily
that,
going worse.
Given the fact that they are just, like I said, a train wreck, that it's only going to get worse is just literally scary. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's steadily gotten worse. And I think you can kind of say this all started with Phil Jackson even re-signing Carmelo Anthony.
Yes.
And at the time, I realized why you have to do it, because you're not going to win with him. But without him, you're even worse. You still have to try to revitalize some hope and aspiration in this New York Knicks team.
Right.
So you have to try to bring him in.
Yes.
But you give him a lot of things in that deal. It's a long deal. You give him the no-trade clause, like I mentioned. You gave him kind of everything.
Yeah, he has a
Now
pretty nice
it's
setup
like,
as far as that's concerned.
It's almost like you just kind of have to just deal with it and wait till it's over. Like, I don't even know, man, because... like, where could he potentially go? Maybe, like, the Clippers. They could potentially blow that... not like we talked about it a little bit in the segment before. Maybe that regime is done and over with. Maybe they necessarily blow it up, but make a few changes. Potentially Melo can maybe insert there. The the Boston Celtics have a lot of cap room and a lot of draft picks, although if I was Boston, I'd maybe target a guy like Jimmy Butler or even Paul George as opposed to Carmelo Anthony, but there's an option there. But apart from there, I don't really know what you do with the guy. But for Phil Jackson to come out that bold, then I gotta think something's gonna happen.
Yeah, because now you can't stay.
There's no way.
I don't know where he can go, but it's like
something's got to give.
Yeah.
And so given the fact that Phil Jackson said these comments, do you think Carmelo Anthony is kind of like, you know what? I realize I have the no trade clause, but at this point, I don't even care.
I don't know, because Melo loves New York, though.
You know what I mean? He's from there, and he's from that East Coast region. He played at Syracuse, which is in New York, from the Baltimore area, which is not far away.
He feels good there. So
who wouldn't want to play at MSG? It's the world's most famous arena. The Knicks, it's New York media. The Knicks have not been great for a long time, but it's New York media. I mean, who wouldn't want to necessarily be there?
Yeah, and it just kind of stinks for him because it's like the one guy that was content on that team.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And it has to be
he
him.
and Porzingis now, but Porzingis is so young. He's only been in the league 2 years. So.
Right.
Oh, my God, man. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I honestly don't know what's going to happen.
We're just going to have to see.
I feel like we know Derrick Rose is gone. He's not going to be.
Yeah, there's so many other people where I'm like, he's over it. You
have to deal with Joakim Noah on a monster deal, who's coming off of an injury and
had
his worst season as a professional basketball player.
Yes.
You have Porzingis, who's upset about the triangle offense. I don't really know how
we're all throwing fits except for Carmelo, and they're targeting Carmelo.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just don't know how this gets any better. But Phil Jackson, not afraid to speak his mind. I'm giving him credit for that. Like, he's coming out right and open. Melo wanted him to be honest. He's like, hey, you know what? I'll just give you what you want. Like, I don't want you here, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta give
I don't know how else to. I've been going around kind of like giving you hints, but let me just tell it to you straight now.
I'll give him some credit for that, but oh man, this is definitely a rocky marriage between the two of them. Yes. We'll have to see how it plays out. Coming up next after the break, we'll talk in some NFL news. Aaron Hernandez proven not guilty, supposedly for a cover-up murder that he now did not commit. And then the NFL celebration rule. What do we want out of it? What is potentially going to happen? All that coming up next here at the GSMC Sports Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
So on Friday, a jury in Boston, Massachusetts, found Aaron Hernandez not guilty for a murder that he was on trial for in 2012 for a double slaying of possibly fueled over an anger over a spilled drink in a club and everything, but also potentially a murder that he committed, which he's already proven guilty for in 2013 of Odin Lloyd, was potentially a cover-up murder about this potential double murder.
Right.
So it's like, so you killed a guy to cover up a murder that you now are not guilty for? Of course, Hernandez is already serving a life sentence for that 2013 murder of Odin Lloyd. So, yeah, he got off for this one, but it's like big deal. I mean,
I was actually really surprised when I saw because I heard about it on Twitter and so I was like, wait, what? Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, so what does that mean about the other one? But, I guess this is one case where they really couldn't, prove it without any doubt,
I guess. So, I don't really...
good for him. But, like you said, he's already serving life.
Right, so it's like... What?
He got, I think, 4 more years added to life.
Right, for a gun charge.
Possession charge. So I was like, I guess.
Like, I never really understood that. It's like, okay, you're serving a life sentence.
Or like when they get double 2 life sentences or 3 life sentences, and I'm like...
Yeah, like, what?
Or life plus 200 years.
Like,
they're just warring on the state.
I just don't get it. But nevertheless, Hernandez off the case for 1 murder.
So,
but, not the other one, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But let's get to the majority
difficult
of
either way. Yeah.
the segment here. The NFL is considering relaxing its anti-celebration rules, which apparently can't come soon enough, not only for players but also for officials, because you have, obviously, the players are upset. They want to have their fun. They want to dance. They want to celebrate a little bit. But then you also have the officials who don't want to necessarily gauge, what's worthy of a penalty. Is that pushing the line with that celebration? Is that doing too much? Is that in violation of the rules? And they're trying to figure out what exactly warrants a flag. But it seems like they're going to be a lot more relaxed in the upcoming season on celebrations and throwing penalties. Do you agree with that? Do you think that should be allowed?
I don't really understand the fascination with the NFL and these.
From a player standpoint or an official standpoint?
From the official standpoint.
Okay.
Because, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's kind of a lot going into I feel like this is being made into a big deal.
It is.
I think it's a lot of focus on something that's very trivial and something that doesn't really, I think as long as things aren't vulgar, but then I guess that comes in the question of where's the line of vulgarity, because everything's relative. I get that. But I guess as long as you're just not flipping people off,
So, you know me, I'm a big soccer
little
guy.
shimmy, is
A little shimmy.
little booty
So
shaking.
Antonio Brown twerking, do you think that's okay or not?
Yeah, it's hilarious. 'Cause
Isn't that pushing the line a little bit, though?
But see, and that's
It's like
what
a
I guess.
sexual reference?
I guess, and that's what I'm saying. I guess everything is relative, because I feel like little booty pop is just hilarious, because it's like, is this guy kidding me right now? Versus if they were flipping people off, then I'd be like, what in the world? Type of a thing. So I guess it is pretty relative, and I understand that, football is a family game, and, depending on the rules of your home, that might be pushing the line. But I don't know. I just feel like it's dragged out. It's a pretty big deal for nothing.
So I'm a big soccer guy, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when you have soccer, you score a goal, you have celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
and apart from taking your shirt off or jumping into the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really penalized for anything. And I realize it's a little different. A flag as opposed to like a yellow card, there's a big difference there, because you can obviously foul someone in soccer and not get a penalty for it, which is a yellow card. But so you can get away with more in soccer than you can in the NFL. So it's not a great comparison, but it's just kind of a good one, because you have celebrations, guys jumping up, doing dances. One guy always does the robot when he scores goals.
Right.
You have like your own little dance.
Your signature. Some of the guys have the little signature thing.
Exactly. So as far as celebration in the NFL is concerned, you're going to have it both ways. You're going to have the people that are act like you've been there before and just give the ball to the ref and go back. I'm like, that's boring.
I know. And
I
I'm
want
like,
players
what would
to
you
have a
do
little
if you
fun.
scored a touchdown?
What
honestly,
would I do if I scored a touchdown?
You know what I mean?
Well, I think it'd be different, because I always feel like in soccer, if I scored a goal, my go-to would like to put my shirt over my face. And
Oh,
stick
yes,
my arms out.
classic.
But you can't really do that in the NFL, because you have like pads and like this gigantic helmet on.
Yes.
So
But that's a
exactly
soccer
what I would
classic.
do, I don't know. I'd have to think of something on the fly. But you definitely want to have a little fun. But I think as long as, like you said, as long as you don't cross a line where you're like disrespecting a certain demographic or a player, a team, anything like that, where you're doing anything sexual like twerking like Antonio Brown was, or like a little pelvic thrust or anything like that, then I'm cool with do a little like salsa dance like Victor Cruz. I'm cool with that. Do a little dance with the football. I'm cool with that. The bowling pin with the teammates. Like all that's fun and dandy. I'm cool with that. As long as you don't cross the line and it doesn't take too long to sort of build up. You don't want to waste like 20, 30 seconds of the game because you're doing like some stupid little dance. But so as long as that's not a problem, I don't have an issue with it. Like allow them to have some fun. You know what I mean? They're
I'm
it's
literally
a job.
getting hit by a truck.
It's a job for
every
them,
5
but
seconds.
it's also, it's supposed to be a form of
It's supposed
entertainment.
to be, it's exactly. It's supposed to be fun. It's a good time. And, I mean, have you ever, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I want to ask people who say that, act like you've been here before or whatever. But even when you just toss a balled up piece of paper in a trash bin, you're like, hey, kind of, Kobe,
Right.
you know?
That
So
means, like, have a little fun.
it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping the NFL is definitely a lot more relaxed on some of these players because the majority of them are trying to definitely get their fun element in their celebrations and dances. So we'll see what comes out of it. Hopefully they're more relaxed on it. And I honestly do believe that. I think they're going to be a lot more relaxed on it because it got kind of a little out of hand last year. Even like the simplest thing was like, 15-yarder.
Yes.
So I would imagine that they're definitely going to be a lot more relaxed and giving these players kind of what they want here because they've been really, really scrutinized over the past year. So we'll see what happens. But that's going to be the end of the show for today. Of course, my name is Ben.
I'm Pauline.
Thank you for listening again to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow talking all things sports. Here's the GSMC Sports Podcast. So have a good day, and we'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.